Hello Aquarius, thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming back if you're a returning subscriber. But if you're new to the channel, then I hope you enjoy the reading. Please don't forget to like and share, or like and subscribe, as that will then circulate it to other people who may also enjoy the readings. This is a general reading. It may apply to you, or it may apply to somebody that you're close to at this time. So just take what works for you out of there. If you have strong influences in your birth chart associated with another sign, then you can cross-watch to my other videos to get more information. I have already shuffled the cards and laid them out. I use the 12 houses of the zodiac. So as the cards are appearing in each house, then those are the influences that are coming to bear at this time. So now in the first house, we have air element communicating. The first house is associated with the self. So yourself, your self-oriented interests. It's also your physical body, your vitality, your what you're projecting outwards, and it's also your appearance, and also to what you're projecting outwards to others, and what they are perceiving. So it's your observable characteristics and your personality as well. It's also your personal independence and how you are making your way through the world on a daily basis, your interactions, and just how you're making your way forward. So now with this card coming in for you, air element communicating. So communication in all forms is going to be very important, and this includes body language. So how you look and how you feel, and all of that is going to be important, especially if you're going to be, if you have ambitions in mind, if you have things that you want to achieve. All right. This card is the card of manifestation. So how you perceive yourself and what you're projecting outwards is going to be very important. So this is all about thinking positive, speaking positive about yourself, and when you do that, when you train yourself to do that, to focus on positive outcomes and to focus on positive words and affirmations for yourself, and thoughts are really important. Then when you do that, when you train yourself to follow the positive aspects, then that is what you will manifest. You don't want to be thinking on worries and talking about negative things all the time, because then that is what you draw towards you. So that is what this card brings in, its manifestation. So you could also be receiving messages, or giving messages outward to others, because this covers the airwaves. But it could also be gossip as well, so just steer clear of that if you can. Or you just might overhear something as well. With this card coming in, because you are an air sign already, you will be fully au fait with the air element. So this can go two ways for you. Either you are focusing too much on reasoning, detachment and logical thought, or you're not bringing enough of that in. So because you're an air sign, more than likely you're already doing that. So think on that and work out how it is applying for you. You may be coming across as too aloof or too detached in some way. So the Aquarian element is inclined to be like that. Perhaps you need to bring a bit more warmth and charm into what you are, how you're projecting yourself to others. Or you could just be coming across as being quite logical and detached to others, and they're appreciating that. As I said, you're going to get messages in and out, so see how you're being perceived and how you're being received by others. This is also about thinking things through, this card. Just working through all the different aspects, looking at everything from all different angles. It could just be a physical regime that you want to do, or some kind of physical activity. You need to weigh up certain angles, or it could be to do with interactions with others, or something that you want to do in the public forum. How you look and how you are going to be perceived by others, the way you speak, and so on. This card also could be about thinking young. or having a youthful outlook on life, or wanting to make yourself look younger. So you can apply that in whichever way is applicable for you. It's also about being honest as well about what you want. So you may have to put into words what you want, whether this is some form of written communication to those who are going to have influence in that sphere, or if it's just a letter to yourself, or do you need to communicate with somebody else. But putting it down in writing can be very important, because from your head to your hand, there's a process that goes through there, and it allows the manifestation to come through. You could also be going on some kind of trip. It's possible. The trip is not your average trip. It requires planning. You may be going to learn something, or you're going to enjoy learning experiences. So whether this is exposure to different cultures, or you're going to be visiting places where you're going to learn about your environment, or the buildings, or the people that live there, and so on. It could be something to do with that. This card can also activate the clear senses. So that can be clairsentience, clairaudience. There's a whole range of them, but it's all based on your senses, and you could experience an activation or some kind of clarity in that, in any one of those as well. In the second house, we have earth element stability. So with this coming in, I feel it's asking you to bring the earth element in to your second house, which is the house of income, your money coming in. So how you earn your money, or whatever funds you have coming into you. It's also the house of self-worth and your value systems and everything that you own. It's also the house of property and real estate, land. So this could be, these are all interlinked. So your value systems can be what you value in yourself and what you are valuing in others, or just valuing of possessions in general. So all of those are indicated with the second house. So with earth element stability coming in, you're going to need to be practical and methodical in any one of those areas. It's about building a solid foundation. So even if you have to do it one brick at a time, it's about taking your time and making sure that each one is placed correctly and that it's solid. So you need to get organized and sort of work towards a really strong foundation on which you can build other things. This card can also be about avoiding stubbornness as well, or having fixed views about things which you perhaps have outgrown or are not going down well with others. You perhaps need to adjust your view, have a broader minded look at things, let go of any fears that you may have when it comes to trying something new. So you may just have a few older ideas, or ideas that have served you in the past which don't serve you now going forward. You need to change them up or adjust them in some way. This card can also bring in issues with materialism and hoarding. So hanging on to things which don't serve you anymore, you need to let go of them to bring in fresh energy and fresh new things, which you're going to need to go forward. So just be aware of that. Then this card also can sort of highlight nature, land, gardening, real estate, as I said before, and living close to nature, even growing things. So whether that's on a piece of land or farming, whatever is appropriate for you, or just simply planting your garden. But any one of those activities is highlighted at this time, and having your hands in the soil and being grounded is going to be beneficial for you, because you're an air sign, you spend a lot of time in your head. So you need to stay grounded, and you need to have your feet on the soil to actually bring you down to earth, so that you can plan and think clearly about your each step as you lay it down. Then in the third house, we have Virgo, I analyze. Your third house is the house of communication, all forms of communication. So this is written, verbal, even online communication on your phone. It's also body language This house also covers documents and contracts of all kinds, anything written. And it's also about, it can be communication with people just in general, but it can also be on a wider forum, so with the public, but if it's your profession or however, but it can also be communication with certain family members. So this is cousins, aunts, uncles, siblings, and even neighbors. Okay, so the third house also covers short trips. This is local trips, which may come in for you as well. So now with this card coming in, Virgo is all about assessment, analyzing. So when you apply it to your communication field, then it's asking you to streamline your communications, how you go about it, everything that you do in connection with that. It's asking you to get organized as well. If you deal with a lot of paperwork or with a lot of documents or administration, which is helping you with your communication, then you need to declutter as well. So think about even the method by which you communicate. If it's cluttered, if it's too wordy, or it's not going across well because there's just too much, just think about decluttering in general, your workspace, how you communicate, the ways that you communicate. You need to streamline, pare it down, and assess what is working and what is not working for you at this time. So it is a form of analysis. Numbers, writing, and figures are all going to come in for this house and with this card. So anything to do with that is going to be important. You really need to, as I said, let go of what is not working for you. Focus on details as well, also on your routines. And this card is also, this can bring in a very critical mindset as well, which there's nothing wrong with being critical about what's working and not working, but don't be overly critical of yourself or overly critical of others or any kind of situation where you are asked to give your opinion. So basically, what you say and how you go about balancing the positive and the negative sides of any kind of situation is to bring in useful and helpful advice or useful and helpful methods, and put the criticism aside. So that can come in with this card as well. You may be quite keen to start a business, or you are getting involved in a business of some kind. It could be service industry. So that could come in for you. Also, this may bring in interests or research to do with health, and alternative or natural remedies, because that does fall under Virgo as well. So it could be you researching various things either for your own personal interests or for publishing or for articles that you want to write, however it applies to you. Virgo is also in touch with nature. So this is the second nature card that we're having now. And they also enjoy interactions with small animals. So, and plants, so greater nature and being out there. So you may just find that a short trip to a destination where any one of those things applies for you may be very beneficial. So this is like a weekend trip or something nearby that you can go and enjoy, and just enjoy nature and being amongst plant life, and just taking some time out to reorientate yourself. Then in the fourth house, we have water element sensing. So the fourth house is your house of your home, your actual physical home. It's also the environment in your home and the people in your home. It's also your relationship with your foundation, your roots, your ancestry, your ethnic identity, where you came from, really. It's your relationship with that. So with water element sensing coming in, it's exactly what it says. You may just find that with something to do with your home at this time, this is a pause before action. So this is the pause before action that you're going through with this house. Just so go with the flow at this time. Trust your feelings, but just go with the flow. Move with the current right now. You may actually find it really beneficial to just withdraw periodically, take time out for yourself. That's going to really help you just to do that deep inner processing which is required. So it's a time to dream, to plan, gather your energy and your resources in preparation for what it is you're going to do later. During this period, just maintain your boundaries. Just keep that in place, because you don't want to get taken advantage of while you're in this quiet phase at this time, because your energy may be low. So use your home as your retreat and your time away, and your me time, really. This is a very good time to be doing imaginative activities. So this is writing, poetry, painting, creating. It's also time to just play and have time to yourself. As I said, a lot of inner processing going on. So some of that inner processing you can project outwards into artwork or any kind of written works, even music. From a very literal, practical sense, the water element sensing can actually affect your home in a way where there are water issues in your home. So for some reason you could experience flooding or a water leak, or something to do with water in the home. This may have that very practical application for you. It could also be that you may be spending time near water, whether you're staying somewhere over an extended period, so that is essentially your home for a period. May not just be a holiday, it may be longer, and being close to water will be very beneficial for you at this time. Then in the 5th house we have Yod Destiny. So the 5th house is the house of your creativity, all forms of creativity, which is not necessarily artistic. This can be applied in many ways. It's also the house of children, whether they're your children or other children that you are in contact with. And it's the house of love affairs, and it's the house of recreational activities of all kinds. So having fun, enjoying whatever the activity is for you. It can be handcrafts, anything really. It can be a club situation. It also has this 5th house also has a speculative aspect to it, which is following the stock exchange and so on, and also gambling. So with this coming in for you, this card is a destiny card. So fate is at hand and guiding things at the moment. So you may just feel like things are fated right now in this house. You're going to be working things out on your own. So however that applies for you, this is about following your inner guidance, your inner GPS. Because right now in this house, you're not going to need much input or guidance or interference from others, because your inner knowing already knows what to do, is already going to guide you. But you need to go inward, and you need to spend a bit of time on your own and doing whatever it is that you're doing it on your own, to actually be able to navigate that properly. So there will be tension around. You may be feeling restricted in some way. It could also be that your children are going through this and you are experiencing it with them. Just see how that works for you. But there is as I said, there's an element of fate and destiny in this, where it's something that you or your children or both of you have to go through at this time. You may just also be feeling out of step with others. So almost like you're different, or you've got your own path, or you're just not gelling with others at the moment. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually indicated with this card, because you need to do that in order to pull out what is right for you, your truth, your real purpose. And you could also just be working on a creative project where it is going to require a lot of effort, and maybe even some sacrifice to bring it to fruition. But it's that process of navigating on your own and working on your own through all the different phases that is going to help you in the end. This card is also about being inventive and adaptive as well to what is going on around you. as I said, fate is involved. So if there is, a lot of tension or a lot of drama going on around you, you just have to let matters unfold and just keep on with what it is that you've set yourself to do. If you are in a sort of a recreational situation or a fun activity and so on, it may not seem like that with this. So you may have bitten off more than you can chew, or you're finding that it's actually harder than you anticipated, or something about the activity is going to challenge you in some way. Or you may be going through a phase where you want to do a lot of fun activities and other things, and you just simply are not able to at this time, because you have other demands on you right now. If this is to do with a love affair of some kind, as this, you may just be feeling out of step with your partner, and spending time on your own just to work through different things is going to be indicated at this time. Then in the 6th house, we have Pisces, I believe. 6th house is the house of work, workplace, work colleagues, your work projects, and your daily routines in that. And if that is not applicable for you, then it's your mastery of your craft, whatever it is that you do. It's also the house of health and diet, and it's the house of pets. So with Pisces, I believe, coming in, you may find yourself in sort of confusing circumstances, or you may just be feeling like you're a little bit adrift or unsure about how things are going. But during this time, it really is, it is all about finding faith and trust during that period. So things may seem unclear, may not be sure what's going down at the moment, but just have your deep faith and trust, and just work through that step by step. It's possible that you will have an idea from the past that may inspire you again. It may rise to the surface and inspire you again. If that does happen, follow it quickly, because it could easily just as easily sort of sink back and you lose sight of it again. So if something should come up, then follow it and see how far it takes you. With this card also, you may find that just be careful with people that you are involved with in your environment. You could be attached to the wrong crowd, or you could be involved with others who sap you, or sap your energy, or sap your strength, or sap your knowledge in some way. So your boundaries are important, because you will be feeling quite sensitive and compassionate at this time, because that's what Pisces brings in for you. It is heightened sensitivity and compassion. It's a very universal energy, but it is easily taken advantage of as well, and it can sometimes turn to paranoia or confusion. So make sure your boundaries are in place, and if you feel you need to withdraw from certain situations, then just do that. It can also make you quite gullible as well, so be careful of that. But on the positive side, this is the house. This is the card of service. So you may be entering a service field of some kind, or you may be in service to others in some way. Just be aware that you can do that, but have your boundaries so that they don't sap your energy. You could also be entering a phase where you are working on your spirituality. That could come in for you as well. Or you could also be focusing on your talents or abilities when it comes to the arts. Highly indicated with this at this time. So that can be, as I said, it came up before, funny enough, as well. So this is a theme for you at the moment. And it's something perhaps that you need to do, even if it's just a hobby or something that you do on the side, but it's mastery of that craft. So this is all kinds of artistic endeavors. So that can be writing, painting, music, even any of the arts is indicated with this, because you will be accessing higher realms with Pisces in this house. Oh, it could also be from a health and diet point of view. Just be aware that allergies may be appearing for you. in some way, or it could also be that you are having reactions in some way to medications that you're taking or toxins in your environment. So because you are so sensitive at this time, that may trigger any one of those aspects for you. In the 7th house, we have void, of course, moon missing. So the 7th house is your house of relationships. This is close, personal, one-on-one relationships, and it's also business relationships. So it could be love or business. And it's also the house of the lower courts. So it could also just be another, if a love or a business partnership is not indicated for you, then it could be another close, personal, one-on-one relationship at this time. So with this card coming in, this is what it is it's a period where the moon sort of passes into a quiet phase where it's not interacting, and the moon's wisdom is withdrawn. Okay, so it's between situations. There's a void there, and when you go through that void, it's what it's asking you to do is to just stay as you are for now. So don't embark on something new or untried at this time. So when it comes to your relationships, you'll have to just see how that manifests for you. If you are in a love relationship and you want to take it to the next level, you can plan and dream about a wedding or some kind of strong commitment, but just wait for a better time to initiate that. Don't initiate that at this time, or don't make an impulsive leap into a marriage. Rather wait, let things unfold, make your dreams, and get your plans organized, but don't initiate at this time. And the same applies to a business partnership. You can lay the foundations, you can think about that, but just don't embark on anything new or untried at this time. The reason for that is that some details may have been overlooked, or you'll be caught unawares with something. It's like not all the facts are clear. Not everything is clear. A mistake could be made, or a misjudgment, or something gets overlooked. And you may also get the wrong result. The result that you wanted doesn't come about. So it's just it can be a very delayed or a frustrating period as well. So just stay as you are, just continue as you are for now until the period has passed. It's a very good time to rest and meditate, and just follow your normal ways and routines just at this time. Then in the 8th house, we have Black Moon Lilith mystery. So this may be following on from that 7th house, which is the deeper commitment. This is the deeper commitment in a relationship. So the 8th house, I'll just give you all the various manifestations for it. The 8th house is the deeper commitment, sexual commitment in a partnership, but it's also the merging in a love relationship or a business partnership. It's the merging of your emotional and material resources. And this house also deals with other people's money, handling other people's money. It's also the house of big finance. So this is your investments, your insurances, your taxes, banking, accounting, legacies, inheritances, trusts, anything like that. So it's all the joinings of those different aspects when you bring them all together. With Black Moon Lilith coming in, it's basically bringing in complicated circumstances in some way. So you could also be waiting for something to happen, or you don't have all the facts, so you can't make a proper decision. There may be control issues or issues about winning in this as well. It can also, because this is the 8th house, then sex, death, and rebirth is indicated. So that death can be an ego death. It's not necessarily a physical death, or it could be the death of something to make way for something new. But sex is indicated, and this card also brings in sexual issues. There could be an affair of some kind, or seduction, or even stalking going on. So any of those, they're all related. They could all come in. But also this is a card associated with manifestations over darker emotions which don't get dealt with properly. So that's emotions like anger, bitterness, or revenge. You may just be feeling slighted or overlooked in some way, or somebody you're dealing with in this house is feeling like that. So just be careful with all of that, because especially find a healthy outlet for it, and to deal with the issues fairly and squarely and honestly, because this can easily go underground and then it can rupture at some point. So just be aware of the undercurrents going on, any undercurrents, and deal with them in the best way possible that you can. This deals with the darker feminine, and all these sort of very strong emotions, which can be propelled outwards and can actually undo a lot of good work that you may have already laid for yourself, or foundations, or some kind of relationship. So as I said, apply that however that comes in for you in the 8th house. It could also just be, as I said, really complicated circumstances with certain things which need to be unraveled and dealt with properly. Then in the 9th house, we have Jupiter return benefits. So lovely card coming in for you. The 9th house is the house of all things international and foreign. So it's international travel, dealing with foreign concepts or foreign people or foreign cultures. This can be online, doesn't have to be physical traveling there. Exploration and adventure comes in with this house as well. And this house also deals with further education and study. So this can be university education or adult education. It also deals with philosophy, religion, belief systems, all kinds of belief systems. Teaching comes into this house, publishing, all kinds of promotional work as well. And it's also the higher courts and the law, the concept of law, and it's also relationships with in-laws as well. So now with the 9th house, it's also the gaining of wisdom through all of those channels. So with Jupiter returns benefits coming in, Jupiter is the planet of abundance, all right? So when it comes into any house, it's always going to bring abundance and sort of good fortune, good luck, and so on. So now this is a Jupiter return. So this implies that it's this is coming back after it's already had a visit around, and normally it does that about every 12 years. So you would have, you may be noticing something from a 10-year or a 12-year period which is now coming back and bearing fruit for you. Something to do with the 9th house. So that, and if it does come back to you, and if you spot that, it could be more than one thing actually, but when it comes up for you, follow it as quickly as you can, make a move on it, follow it as far as you can, because the opportunity will be rapid. It will come and go quickly. So you need to grab it and work it as far as you can. You're going to have to apply effort to obviously bring the opportunity to you, but it's something from the past which is going to bear fruit at this time. It could be an idea or a business, or something that you started or you wanted to do years ago and it just never took off for whatever reason, or it was shelved, or you just forgot about it, or it just never really took hold. But this card brings in positivity, it brings in earned luck, and opportunities that you need to move on quickly. It's also the go-ahead card, it's the green light card, it's the yes card. It can bring in good fortune for you. It could also just be less resistance for you to move forward on something. And publishing is highly indicated, and that's already in this house. So publishing is indicated with this card. Higher education is very highly indicated, and so is travel, international travel. So you could be going to learn something overseas, or you could be, as I said, dealing, perhaps you're publishing something in higher education. It can manifest in a number of ways. You could also be receiving a reward or a gift of some kind in this house. And that could be a trip overseas or some kind of adventure or some kind of just a reward or a gift, and it's associated with the 9th house. Then in the 10th house, we have Leo, I will. Your 10th house is your house of career. It's the house of your fame and your reputation and your public status, your ambitions, what you look up to. It's also the house of authority figures in your life. So this can be a family member or somebody in your organization or a career mentor. So with Leo, I will, it's a very sunny, optimistic card with, it's a strong card. It brings in strength and honor as well. So, and lots of creativity. So with this card coming in, it's a lovely card to be having in your 10th house. From a career point of view, it's amazing. And even from a fame and reputation, it really is, it really is going to activate something for you. So basically what it brings in is that you'll be in the spotlight in some way, or you'll be the center of attention in some way. So this is about recognition, and your public status will be elevated in some way. This is the wider public is going to notice in some way. You're going to stand out in some way. It may even be you bringing your originality into whatever it is that you do, and that's going to be noticed. It's also about being very creative at this time. Children are indicated at this time, so whether you work with children or you're involved with children or you're going to be involved in some way, or it could just be that wonderful optimistic and imaginative ability that children have, bringing that into this house for yourself. It's also professions in the public forum. So this is acting, screen work, so television. It could also be publishing, as I said, for activities to do with that. Publishing keeps coming up again and again and again for you in your chart. It could also even be sales, something in the public forum where you are dealing with others. You're going to be experiencing a growth in reputation and career. So all of these things come in with Leo, and this is already in your 10th house, which is also to do with career and reputation. So it's very highly indicated at this time. So whatever it is, it's coming to you, enjoy it, make the most of it. You know, it's going to boost your confidence, and that will help you tremendously in your 10th house. Then in the 11th house, we have part of fortune increase, another very nice card. So coming in for you in your 11th house, this is the house of friendships, and it's the house of groups, all kinds of groups, whether it's social or something else that you're involved in, an association or a society or a club. It's you amongst others. It's also the house of trends, global consciousness, group consciousness, and social reforms and causes. It's also the house of your personal hopes and dreams and wishes, your hobbies and your interests. It's interaction on all of those levels. It can also even be your ideals. So now with the part of fortune coming in here, it's an increase in any one of those areas. So this is going to bring benefits of some kind as well. Moving ahead. So you'll be moving ahead. You'll be able to resolve differences or conflicts if you have any in any one of those areas. It is a destiny card as well. So this is something that's coming to you directly. It's meant for you. You could be experiencing an increase in popularity, which followed on from your 10th house. You could have a lucky break of some kind. You could receive a gift, which was also in your 10th house. So gifts can also be a literal gift coming to you, but it can also be your gifts. So these are talents and abilities that you perhaps have not harnessed before, or that you didn't notice them before. They're now coming to the surface. So the waters have been stirred, and these talents and abilities are starting to rise up. And there's recognition of that and achievement to do with that. So you may need to study further to enhance those abilities and talents further, to actually work them as best you can. Public relations and promotional work is highly indicated with this card as well. It's a very creative card, and it can bring success to you. So any one of those areas may be activated for you at this time. Then in the 12th house, we have Pluto transformation. 12th house is the house of the unconscious. These are your unconscious drives and motivations. But it's also the house of solitude and reflection, time to do that, or a retreat. It's also spiritual life, meditation, mysticism, healing. It's the house of escapism and addictions, and it's the house of service as well, service to others, karmic lessons, and it's also your interactions in institutions of all kinds. So this can be your experiences there, whether you're going there for whatever purpose or you're going with somebody else. It's your experiences there. So these institutions can be any kind of institutions, whether it's a hospital or a bank or a library or a university or a prison, even sort of a library, a museum, anything like that. It can be any one of those areas. So even a government department. It's your interactions or your experiences there. So with Pluto transformation coming in, that's exactly what it's about. It's transformation. So this is to do with making room for new ways. So whether this is a thought process that you've had a long time, an old habit, or some kind of old wound that you've been carting around forever, something old needs to make way for something new. So this is a transformation coming in for you. So in order to bring in new ways, you have to let go of old things. So letting go came up again and again in your chart already. So this may be letting go of old, outlived patterns of behavior, starting fresh. You're going to be starting fresh. It could also bring in regeneration or renewal of some kind. You may also just see something from the past which looked better than what it actually is. So you may go through that experience. But it could also be about, as I said, your experiences in institutions of all kinds, and taking something and making it better or transforming it in some way. Sometimes you have to go through a bit of pain to get there. Pluto can bring that in for you. But it's always working to bring in the better, to let go of old things to make way for the new. That's what this is about. Okay, Aquarius, hope you enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and share, or like and subscribe. And I hope you have a great month, and take care, and I will see you next time.